I got my microphone on, so I gotta check everything. It really sucks when you get to where you forgot to turn something on. No, we're all connected. Audio's showing up on the meter. All right, let's get on with it. We've got the Lumix S9 28 millimeter light leak lens on it. We got all the stabilization on, but we're out there a little ways. Here, take a look. We're carrying that gunslinger style, and we got more light coming. Oh, we need to be shooting into the light a little bit here. We got some stuff changing up. A couple things I want to talk about this episode. We've already kind of discussed straight out of camera photography and why I think it's important, but there's some other reasons that I think it might be valid. In this world of AI, you know, things are changing quick. It's really been something. I'm not just saying that because I'm an old guy. I'm saying that in the last 5 years. But I don't knock it either. Any form of creativity, in my mind, is legitimate. So clickbait really is what it is, because there's not much substance to it typically. And so it just kind of keeps the wheels turning or something. I'm not sure of its purpose. But I do know, as a photographer, when I go out to take photographs, I try and do it with integrity. I try and do it with, you know, myself involved in the process, where you can interject your own personality or style or preference or, you know, whatever. It's your work with a system that's Kodachrome 64 works really good for straight out of camera photography. I have it on spot point metering, and I'm shooting at 16:9 with an analog lens. This lens has no contact, no connection, nothing to do with what's going on. It's a toy plastic lens that's got some really cool results. That's going to be an analog solution. We've also got inside of here a Fuji recipe called Kodachrome 64, which is a film simulation recipe by Fuji X Weekly. Probably my favorite ever. You'll see that when we get into some light, the different things that it does. It's a couple of analog solutions in a digital body. Now I realize all the recipe and whatever has been pre-programming, whatever you want to call it, and I'm working within it. Oh, look, that sun's coming out, guys. Let's get on with it. We got some light coming our way. I'm bringing the image to a point of identification of time, place, and manner, even though I've got digital overlay, but this isn't talking to anyone right now, just me. An analog experience. We've got something analog break up the image for us and hopefully give us a nostalgic look. You know, I'm hoping that Kodachrome 64 will be the star. Let the colors and the exposure, which makes a difference on the colors too. I'm set in spot point metering. I'm just using the exposure compensation to dial in exposure. The lens is set at f8 forever and always. I'm just working the ISO and the shutter. Shutter gets too low, I'll give it some more ISO. The other thing this does not do well is photograph things up close. You gotta be a distance. Funny, you have to, I'm extended out, so I tend to turn the wrong way. So that's what's going on. Computer, this little tiny computer in here, feeding it with some analog information. I'm dumbing down the lens, the film simulation, Kodachrome 64, just the style that I'm shooting. The Kodachrome's gonna get me some great color. I used to like to watch Battlestar Galactica. I watched it in the 70s, and then, of course, when it was the 2000s, early 2000s, I watched it a lot. It's basically a story of this man-made thing, Cylons, that had taken over, fought them in a war. The artificial intelligence won. Anyways, they spend a lot of time running from these things on the show. Of course, the Cylons have a lot better technology. They can do things automatic, and the people can't. Is it still going? Oh, wrong way. Turn the screen around, Dan. Hello. There you go. I need some Cylon technology. Anyways, the Cylons were superior in every way, but they had some hardwiring, you know, some programming that humans worked their way around. The ways they worked their way around, it was pretty fascinating. So here they were flying around in space, fighting robots that are better, and they they're talking over analog radios. They can't, because anything they do digital, those things will just pick up on it and tear them up with it. Here they are communicating with an analog signal, an old analog signal, in outer space while they're fighting, which I thought was pretty interesting. Nice bit of science fiction. And the other thing that they did, all the paper, the corners were cut off of all the paper, so nothing was square. It had 4 extra sides. It was octagonal, but it was still, even books, corners cut off books. I can't remember why that was, but I think it had to do with they couldn't scan things, you know, something along the lines of the paper wouldn't scan. But you can't fight it. That's the problem with the AI. It's showing up everywhere. But what you can do is create for yourself and others, if you're doing it on YouTube, a real experience that didn't involve any AI. That's something to strive for these days, I think, is getting some personality into things and figuring out ways to, you know, utilize this stuff, but still keep that analog heart in mind when we're using stuff.